I'd like to call this meeting of the Horn Lake Board of Aldermen to order. Appreciate all the citizens coming out tonight. Like we always say, good government depends on the citizens being involved. Certainly appreciate you coming out, especially this time of year when so many holiday activities are going on. And while we're all present, I want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas. I hope you have a healthy one, and that you have safe journeys and your company has safe journeys. At this time, we'd like to call on Alderman Johnson for our invocation.
Let us bow. Heavenly Father, we come tonight to say thank you. Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here another time. Lord, thank you for allowing us to be here at our last meeting in 2021. Lord, I ask that you just bless each family that's represented here. Lord, you know our needs. You know our desires, Lord. Help those who may not have what they need, Lord Jesus. And Lord God, just help us to be grateful. Lord, as we make decisions on tonight, let us decrease so you may increase. Lord, help us to be more like you in everything we do. These things I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Would you please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance led by Alderman Young?
And salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Klein.
Here.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Here.
Alderman Geis.
Here.
Alderman Bostic.
Here.
Alderman Johnson.
Here.
Alderman Dupree.
Here.
Alderman Young.
Here.
All right, we have a quorum. Number one on the agenda is a vote on the municipal docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the municipal docket.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. We have a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number two is the consent agenda. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the consent agenda with the exception of letter E being moved to executive session.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Mayor. Second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. We're honored tonight to have Lieutenant Michael Mueller with us, who is being promoted by the board just now to battalion chief. Thank you for your service to the community. Thank you for being here, sir. All right, number three is the claims docket. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to approve the claims docket. General fund, $558,477.59. The bond funded cap project expense, $2,279.48. The library fund, $24,262.97. The economic development fund, $26,323.29. The utility fund, $53,422.25, for a total docket of $664,765.58.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
A second.
Second by Alderman Johnson. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Number 4, special gifts and presentations. Do we have any?
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
I sort of threw this together at the last second, but there's a very special person here tonight, at least I think there is. I'm sure the rest of y'all will. When you understand that Miss Jennifer, if you'll raise your hand, and her Hal, Cameron, grandson. Miss Jennifer contacted me last Tuesday, I believe it was, sent me a text and said, hey, my son is the pastor of the Mayfair, Kentucky First Baptist Church, one of the only 4 buildings that was not destroyed in Mayfair, Kentucky. His house and his parcel in his church. We need to get them some relief. That lady right there, along with Hal and her grandson, she's been with the American Cancer Society, President Board of Realtors, retired broker, retired business owner, Chamber of Commerce ambassador, published author. She's a published author, freelance writer for magazines and media, and she's currently doing research data for a documentary for a hobby. A documentary as a hobby. Pretty good. I just publicly want to thank Miss Jennifer, Hal, and Cameron for your efforts. You made a difference in Kentucky. They contacted a truck driver that was going to take a 53-foot trailer up there for no charge. He was in North Carolina and was coming through Memphis, and they stopped. Couldn't get the trailer figured out, so the guy went and rented a U-Haul trailer. It was filled in less than 24 hours, thanks to Chief Linville letting us use the fire department and your graciousness. And I just want to publicly thank them for everybody in Mayfair, Kentucky. What y'all did was above and beyond. Y'all are what Horn Lake's about. Thank you very much.
It was absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing what y'all did. Thank you. All right, number 5 on the agenda is planning. I'd like to turn it over right now to our city planner, Mr. Chad Barr.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good evening, aldermen and citizens and staff. Yes, the first item under the planning agenda is under item A. It's case number 2052. It's a subdivision preliminary plat. It's a 3-lot preliminary plat by Huntington Industrial Properties called the I-55 Distribution Center, and it consists of 40.8 acres, roughly in the vicinity of east of Hurt Road and south of Payne Road here in Horn Lake. And that is before you tonight. There's 3 types of zoning that make up the 41 acres or so. There's some commercial 1, some commercial 3, and some light industrial. So there's a mixture of 3 different bands of zoning, if you will, that go through the proposed subdivision. There's a proposed new road to be added. Preliminary plats don't necessarily have to go to the alderman. They can go through just planning commission. But when speaking to former interim director Bob Barber, he suggested in this particular case, since there was a new road and features such as that it would go on to you for your review and consideration. And so that is why it's before you tonight. So it is a plat consisting of 3 lots with that mixture of 3 types of zoning. You can see on the screen up above where it shows the outline of the parcels. There is an electrical easement that goes along in a north-south direction on the east portion of proposed lot number 3. And there's also an ingress-egress easement, which is donated by the green color for a couple of parcels to the north of the proposed lot number 3. The main entrance point would come off of Hurt Road and travel to the east, and therefore provide the access to the proposed 3 lots.
Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
just one question. You said access is only coming off Hurt. It's not going back on.
That is correct,
It
yes.
will not, because that road's not set for that type of traffic. Just on Hurt Road is. That's the only entrance and exit, correct?
That is correct. That's what's proposed. What's proposed is 50 feet of road right-of-way for the new road. That would be basically in an east-west orientation.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Does anyone else have any questions? Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, I make a motion to approve case number 2052 for the three-lot preliminary plat by Huntington Industrial Properties called the I-55 Distribution Center, consisting of 40.8 acres east of Hurt Road and south of Payne Road.
Second.
All right. Alderman Bostic, would you like to add the staff recommendations to your motion?
Sure.
All right. Does your second still hold?
Yes.
All right, we have a motion by Alderman Bostic, a second by Alderman Klein. Is there any further discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis. Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Moving on down to letter B. Mr. Chad.
Thank you once again. Yes, item B is case number 2055. It is also a subdivision, but in this case it is a final plat, and it's a one lot final plat requested by Carlson Consulting Incorporated / Meritage Hospitality, and it consists of 1 acre, and it's directly west of the Aldi store. As this has been processed through this case and some other cases in the department, it's actually going to have an address of 6965 Penny Lane. And it would get its main access off of Penny Lane on the east side. But there you can see on screen is the Fountain at Fairfield Meadows PUD, which PUD is a planned unit development, and the subject property is highlighted in that red rectangle.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Chad?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
so they're going to access that off Penny Lane, not off 302, correct?
That is correct. The access will be off of Penny Lane, and then also right now there's also proposed on the south end off of Fountain Lane as well.
Exactly, thank you.
Now I do have, in addition, if Jim could go to the next slide, there it shows the plat itself. It shows utility easement up in the northeast corner of the property. And you can see how it's kind of oriented in a kind of a north-south orientation, with the Goodman Road west being on the top of that particular area. I've tried to, in all of the slides, when you see a vicinity map and it's got the red box to kind of indicate the subject property to help you find it, I've tried to use that same thing when we get to an actual plat, whether it be a preliminary or final, use that same red box to help you kind of locate things visually.
Thank you, sir. Are there any more questions? Did you have one, Mr. Campbell?
Mayor, I was going to say something before a motion was made, but I'll yield to any other questions first.
Anyone else? Mr. Chad.
If I could continue on just a bit, Jim, if you could forward ahead to the next slide there. It's suggesting conditions to be added to if the alderman would find for a motion to approve the final plat. But I also have a letter from Neil Schaefer Company that's reviewed the plat from December 7th of this year with several items. Some of them are similar to the ones listed on the screen there, but I would also like to add that the items listed in the December 7th letter from Neil Schaefer pertaining to this particular case be followed and adhered to as well. If you'd like me to read them, I could, but some of them are a duplication of some of the factors there.
Would they change anything? You said some of them are duplications.
Well, some of the items, let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 8 items. Some of them are like revised parking bays to meet the city ordinances. That's something that will be actually handled through the site plan and design review stage, so that doesn't necessarily need to be put in the final plat. Things that are more specific to the platting process is, let's see, the one item here is revise the storm drain pipe that ties into the inlet in the right-of-way to 15-inch RCP. So that one's fairly specific. It says here, note number 4 refers to a surveyor locating the property corners and states that if they are knocked out, they are to be replaced. Please clarify that the corners may only be replaced by a licensed surveyor. Going on, revise the drainage from the dumpster to prevent polluted stormwater runoff from entering the city system. Let's see. And then note M, please revise the note, the inactive days to 5 as specified in the city ordinances. And then under miscellaneous details, revise the standard barrier-free parking space detail to meet the city ordinances. I guess that would be something probably handled through the site plan and design review as well. I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving anything out for the applicant to know that. So.
All right, sir. Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Chad on that? Mr. Campbell?
And Mr. Mayor, someone from the applicant may be present on this one.
Oh, I didn't know. Come forward, please, sir. I am sorry. You're not just a spectator, you came to participate.
Yes.
Would you please give your name and address
Yes,
to our city clerk?
Dylan Dempsey with Carlson Consulting Engineers at 7068 Ledgestone Commons, Bartlett.
Excuse me, sir. You're a tall gentleman. Could you speak into the microphone because we can't hear you?
Oh, sorry about that. Dylan Dempsey, 7068 Ledgestone Commons, Bartlett, Tennessee.
Did you
Yeah.
have anything to say, sir?
Just regarding some of the questions that Chad mentioned, that we've already, for the site plan review, we will incorporate all those comments into addressing them for that when we get to that stage.
Anyone have any questions or comments for the gentleman?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
does this Wendy's come with like a workout zone? Because it being that close to my house, I'm gonna gain weight every time I go by it.
Sadly not.
Any more questions for the gentleman? Thank you, sir. All right. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Yes.
the condition I was going to speak of, I know Mr. Chad talked about easements shown on the plat. The city does have a sewer line that runs down Goodman Road in that area, and I'm not positive that it's located within the easements that's shown on the proposed plat. So I would ask that a condition in the approval be that we get confirmation that that sewer line is within the easement that's shown on the plat. And if it's not, that a dedicated easement be shown on the plat for that sewer line. Some of the aldermen that were here for the prior term will remember we dealt with a sewer line out there for the Aldi building that we had to relocate. So we're trying to avoid that same issue with this development this time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Gary, do you know off the top of your head?
Looking at that right there, it's close. There's a sewer manhole right there at Penny Lane, coming off of where they're showing that. So it may be close to being in that easement area.
Yeah, we just need to confirm that it is, and if it isn't, we need to have it shown on the plat.
Can you take care of that, please? All right. Thank you, Mr. Campbell. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
I make a motion that we approve the Wendy's site plan as dedicated by the staff and with the differences in location of the sewer pipe as indicated by Mr. Campbell.
And all the other staff recommendations.
Yeah, got to do all this stuff. Yes,
We have a motion by Alderman Young. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Guys.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye. Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. All right, moving on down, letter D. Mr. Chad. Sir?
C, I think we need to do C.
Okay, I'm sorry. I scratched off C too early. Thank you. Moving on down to C. Mr. Chad, you again.
All right, thank you. Yes, item C is for case number 2054. It's for conditional use. In this case, it's also by Carlson Consulting Incorporated, but it's for a drive-through use to a permitted or allowed by right restaurant. And it says that 4065 Goodman Road West, but that was the former address when part of the idea or the whole development was put down, and then the Aldi's was developed. But it really should go with the 6965, now that we've got that from the county as a more precise address, and that would be 6965 Penny Lane. And that would be for a Wendy's restaurant, and so that was taken up by the city's planning commission on November the 29th, and they recommended approval on this. Okay, there on that particular slide there, it shows the highlighted area in yellow is the proposed drive-through area, which would be around the main building, which is proposed to be in the center. And what we see there is basically it's a conceptual site plan without any landscaping. It was on the Planning Commission agenda for last night to actually handle the site plan with design review and landscaping, but the applicant had to bow out as of last week. They were still working on a few details, and so we're hoping to bring that aspect to the Planning Commission in January. But going back to this on the conditional use question on the drive-through, for the PUD zoning, that planned unit development zoning, for this area, the fountain at Fairfields Meadows, it does not allow by right drive-through. So that's why it was considered by the Planning Commission. That was a separate use, and they looked at factors, and they've recommended approval to the alderman of that request. And you can see this is kind of an excerpt from the minutes from the November 29th meeting. I'll let you read through that briefly. But they recommended unanimously on the request for approval. And Jim, if you could go one more slide ahead. And so what you have here, which looks really long, but the zoning ordinance for the city is specific. When a conditional use permit case comes before the alderman, there's different factors to look at. And I've tried to go through there and enumerate as far as what's been requested to whether it's been met or not. So you'll see the actual items, they're lettered what, A through G. Thank you. It's really hard on this small screen here before me to read that. So it's, yeah, A through G, and then there's a little bit of discussion on each one. And then as staff, I've put in there in kind of bold purple font, whether that particular or individual factor, if you will, for a conditional use is met or not. And there's really only two things that are of concern. One of them has to do with the off-street loading. We haven't seen on this particular site plan that was submitted a designated spot for off-street loading. I don't know if you would like to have a conversation with Mr. Dempsey from Carlson to see if that's something they could provide, or maybe that's all their trucks would deliver at night, and so maybe they wouldn't need a designated spot. That would be something I would recommend. And then the last item is one of the things that came specifically out of the Planning Commission meeting was that they wanted to tie the particular request of a drive-through to this Wendy's restaurant, because they felt, well, you know, if it ended its useful life, whenever that would be down the road or whatever, that a new use there, whether it be a restaurant or something else, may not need a drive-through. And so this way it would basically cease when the Wendy's would stop there, if they would ever stop.
Does anyone have any questions for Mr. Chad? So it's conditional use as long as it stays a Wendy's.
That is correct.
All right.
Yes.
Mr. Dempsey, would you like to come back up and address the board on any of this?
Yeah, so in regards to the item A that he was mentioning, Wendy's does plan on doing it after hours at night, so there wouldn't be an issue with cars being parked there for loading or anything like that.
You say the deliveries at night?
Yes, they'll be
Okay.
doing deliveries at night, so there won't be anyone in the parking lot or any issues with that.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Dempsey? Thank you, sir.
Thank you all.
Do you have anything, Mr. Campbell?
Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing on this matter, so we need to ask if anyone has any yeas or nays for it.
Public hearing is now open. Any yeas, nays? Public hearing is closed. Do we have a motion?
Mayor.
Alderman Geis.
Make a motion to approve case number 2054, conditional use by Carlson Consulting for a drive-through use to a permitted and allowed restaurant at 6965 Penny Lane for a Wendy's restaurant, with all the recommended staff recommendations and the off-site parking issue being addressed by trucks coming in at night.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
I'll second, Mayor.
Who said it? I don't know. Alderman Bledsoe. Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Aye. Alderman Guys.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. All right, now down to letter D. Mr. Chad.
Thank you. Yes, item D is case number 2057, and this is a subdivision final plat with the name of Baker's Estates final plat. It was, let's see. Oh, we've got down here approval conditional to stormwater detention design adjustments. The request is by Yazoo Development Properties LLC, and the location is east of Mississippi Highway 301, and then south of DeSoto Road. See on that particular, okay, yes. So on this particular slide, you'll see there's two areas highlighted in red, and I've identified which one's a part and which one's not a part. Anyway, what's proposed is 83 single-family residential lots in the larger area, consisting of about 53 to 54 acres in size. The zoning is PUD, it's planned unit development, and the proposed the proposed lots start at about 20,000 square feet, and then actually some of them are larger than that, up to about an acre in size. The developer presented the case at the Planning Commission meeting, and they've had 3 developers or builders lined up to construct homes. The restrictive covenants list a minimum of 1,800 square feet for a new residential structure, but most of the builders said they probably would be building 2,000 square feet or more in this particular subdivision. The main entrance point for this would be off of Mississippi 301 on the west side. There is a creek that runs through off to the side, I guess you will say, on the west side of the property as it drains to the northeast. And then there's also another access point that connects on the slide there down on the lower right-hand side. That would be with the Holly Ridge subdivision. I believe the applicant is here tonight. If you have any questions for them.
Anyone have any questions for Mr. Chad? Anybody have any questions for Mr. Chad? The applicant is here tonight, Mr. John Reeves, and the engineer, Mr. Ben Smith. Would you like to come forward, either one of you gentlemen, and address the board?
Thank you, Mayor and Board. Ben Smith, 2700 Stonebrook, Nesbit. I'm here to address any engineering questions you may have about the subdivision or the plat. Mr. Reeves is here if you have any questions about the homes that are going to be built. He'll answer those kind of questions, which I'm not qualified to do or know enough to do. But we're asking for final plat approval for 83 lots. These lots are, the minimum is a half acre or 20,000 square feet. Some of them go up to an acre in size. They will have Walls water. You don't have the water rights there, but it will be city sewer. This subdivision will, you might remember the city contributed money, two developers contributed money and a new metering station will be built on DeSoto Road to meter the sewer. So this will be a fully utility supplied subdivision with large lots and large houses. This is something that the city of Horn Lake has been asking for, and now we're fixing to present this to you. The streets have been asphalted, the water's in, the sewer's in. I think we're at a point now where we're ready to record and start issuing building permits for builders to start homes in that subdivision. John will talk to you about the price of the homes. With today's market, they're somewhere be around $290,000 or $300,000 homes. So this is something you've asked for, and we're producing it. Now, I'll ask any questions about engineering on the subdivision.
Anyone have a question for Mr. Smith?
We're asking for final approval so we can record and start building houses.
Alderman Dupree.
Yes, sir. Are you gonna have a retention pond?
No,
Doesn't the plat recall?
sir.
Doesn't the plat call for one?
Does a plan call for one?
The plat?
No.
It does not?
Does a plan or planning?
The plat.
Plan? No.
Mr. Robertson, when we spoke, you advised that it was in there. I did not get to read it. Was a retention pond supposed to be put in?
Well, something was supposed to be submitted to Mr. Vance for the stormwater issue that is on the current design.
Mr. Vance, is that acceptable to you, what they're doing?
Well, at this point, we are in the process of reviewing information that they've provided on detention. I think originally they were not looking at putting in detention ponds. And when we review plans, of course, we're looking at the stormwater ordinance, which requires detention. And so I think what they're claiming, Mr. Ben, correct me if I'm wrong, but what they were claiming originally was that they were going to use the side ditches of the streets as detention. That's fine. You know, it doesn't matter where the detention comes from. We just need the calculation to show that there is adequate detention there. And so at this point, we have not, we received at late this afternoon, or this morning, I think, we received some information from them again, responding to some information we requested for their design. And at this point, we're still reviewing it, so I can't make a definitive review answer at this point. So I have to wait till we finish that review process.
Okay, thank you.
If I could clarify a little bit, your ordinance says that the post-development flow rate cannot exceed the pre-development flow rate. What we have submitted to Vince is calculations that show without detention, we're still meeting that requirement. Now there's three factors that goes into that. One is that we got 83 lots. As you well know, when there's a rain occurrence, water stands in the ditches. We're saying that, and I've produced several articles, engineering articles that backs that up. So we're dependent on ditches. We're also flattening the slope. If you remember the Baker, when it was known for Mr. Baker's place, we had 8 to 10% slopes. And now we're at 2 to 3% slopes. We flatten the site out so it takes longer for water to get out. The third thing is the last thing you want to do when you're in a basin is to hold up water by detention and release it when the surge is coming down the creek and you add to it. So if you're at the lower end of a drainage basin, what you need to do is get that water and get it out. So there's three things that we're saying is going to prove that we don't need detention. We have submitted calculations that shows the slopes are now flat enough that we meet that requirement without detention. And we understand that. So if Vince needs some more calculations, we'd be glad to do it and provide that to him. But we have three things to look at. We've looked at one, and it showed that we don't need detention.
Anyone else have any questions or comments for Mr. Smith?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
there was a pond on that land, wasn't there?
There was.
Y'all covered that up?
Well, we removed and covered it up, yes. Yeah, there was a farm pond on that place, yes.
What are you gonna do about, I was out there today looking around, what are you gonna do about trees? You gonna plant trees with the houses, or what are you gonna do about the mitigation on the trees, or what are you gonna do about that?
Would you, if you got any question, Mr. Reeves, do you mind holding that for him, or you want him to come up
You can
now?
come up right now, it's fine. with
Okay.
me.
Well,
Sir.
let's, before we start here, this motion is conditional, provided the stormwater detention design adjustments are approved by our engineer. Okay. Now, before he comes up, has anybody else got any questions for Mr. Ben? All right, it's not a public hearing. Wait, well, you're with the city, what do you want? I knew you were, but I didn't want to start everybody raising their hand because it's not a public hearing, but you can address this issue.
I talked to Ben the other day, is there any more word on that metering station?
We drove by today and I saw pipe.
A pipe?
I saw pipe on the ground on the north side of Soda Road. Yeah. So there is material been placed on site.
And refresh my memory, please, Mr. Vance. Isn't this the development where we all work together and it saved the city about $80,000 on the sewer issue?
Yes, sir, that's correct. We basically removed the lift station in that area by flowing all the sewer north, as opposed to coming to the sewer in the southeast corner of that.
So this is the same, okay. Mr. Jim, do you need Mr. John Reeves' name and address? You already have it.
I do not.
Alderman Young.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor. You said 1,800 square foot houses, right?
Yeah, I've got.
Minimum. That's fine. I mean, it's pretty laid back. That does not include the garage, right? That we're plus garage.
That's just heated area.
Heated
Not
area, that was
including
the key
garage.
word. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, and.
And
if I'm-
the tree issues, we're gonna plant trees out there?
Trees, we require all the builders to plant trees,
Require all the
at
buildings.
least one tree in the front.
Thank you. That's good news. I'm glad to hear that. You're a very trusted builder. I believe in what you tell me. You're a very good guy. I do have a concern that I addressed to Mr. Campbell today, and to you, Mayor, and Mr. How involved are the Chamblises with this event?
I have sold them 20 lots out of the 83.
Are you aware they owe us thousands of dollars?
I mentioned that to him today, and he said he didn't know anything about it.
Well, we're gonna remind him.
But my dog's not in that fight, but I think, I paid
Oh,
my,
no,
I paid my
it's not.
fees.
I just want to know,
Yeah, yes, sir.
I appreciate it. It looks like a very nice subdivision. I was really concerned about the sidewalks and the stuff like that, but Alderman Geis has brought forward, you know, I mean, there's a subdivision around it that does have curbs and gutters and sidewalks, the one just south of it.
Well,
Yeah, I was over there today, yes, it does. It has curbs, and the one south of it does have curbs and gutters.
are you referring to the smaller houses off?
Yeah, that's what, but still, the subdivision just backs up to it. Willow Point, thank you. But the other one behind there where you're at over on the end doesn't, so that's fine, I don't have a problem with that. If it's okay with you and your.
It connects directly to Holly Grove.
Right.
Which, does not have sidewalks,
Right.
larger lots, has ditches instead of a detention or
It
retention
does,
pond.
it does.
So it matches.
You're
what
right,
it's
it matches,
connected.
but I'm saying if you're looking at the residences around it, the other ones do have curb. They are smaller, but do have curb and gutter. I don't have any more questions. That's, as long as we just make sure we got all the money in-house, right, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mayor.
So if I understand correctly, Mr. Reeves, you're the sole owner of this development.
I beg your pardon?
You're the sole owner. This is your
Yes, I'm the
development.
sole
There's
owner.
The other people that.
I got $4.5 million in the ground over there right now.
So the other people that that were mentioned, they're just people that are gonna be buying lots from you.
That's correct, and I have copies of their plans here that I'll pass out of each builder as to what they're building. But just to give you a little synopsis, if I might, their plans range from anywhere from $288,000 to $350,000. The average price is going to be well over $300,000. The mayor and I talked about tax revenue and what the city of Horn Lake likes, and all cities like, is bigger houses that bring in more revenue. So I checked with the tax assessor and estimating on 300,000. Of course, he said his appraisal is less than that, but let's just say they all average 300,000. The city each year would get $103,700 and something thousand dollars. That's an estimate that the city would get from these houses. And I think from our conversation, Mayor, that's what the city needs, and that's what you wanted.
Yes, sir.
And that's what we've tried to provide. And they're big lots, nice lots, like Ben said. Some of these lots are 42, almost a full acre. But I think it's a good addition to Horn Lake. We're pleased to be in Horn Lake.
Well, we're honored you considering us, very much so. Alderman Geis, this is your ward. Did you have anything you wanted to say, sir?
I'm glad it's bigger houses and lots connecting to the subdivision I live in, which matches what we have. And that's something that I know I've been asking for and wanting from the builders. So I'm happy to see it.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Mr. Reed, you know, we're Tree City, USA, so we kind of follow that guideline that they got. I don't know if you're familiar with being, you probably, you're not. Well, anyway, it's got certain guidelines. So if you'll look at it, you know,
Sure.
if you tear a tree up, you plant a tree, something like that. So you might want to look at it and see what.
Anyone else have any comments or questions?
Not 83 trees on the side. We'll be planting more trees than what we're on the side.
Right.
We're just a handful of trees.
I just want him to look at it, be familiar with it, in case somebody asks him.
Does anyone else have any questions or comments? Mr. Campbell, did you?
I'd like to.
Oh, Alderman Klein, I'm sorry.
I just want to let you know that I'm very excited about this development and look forward to getting going.
Mr. Campbell.
Mr. Mayor, I just wanted to make one comment with respect to the detention, or whatever we're going to call it, the stormwater plan. We won't be able to release the final plat for recording until the city engineer signs off on that. Y'all understand that?
Yeah.
We understand that, and we're working on that every day.
Other-
I have these lots sold, and we're blacktop, and I'm ready to sell these lots to builders where they can start building. Plus, as a developer, I'm concerned about interest rates, so the sooner I get this done, the better.
They're going up, Mr. Reeves.
That's correct.
For the board, the other point I think we need to decide on, I think everybody's comfortable with no sidewalks in that subdivision, but as the planning director pointed out in a memo, there is a fee in lieu of sidewalks, so the board is going to waive that requirement as well. That should be in your motion.
Thank you, sir. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Dupree.
just one more question.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. How wide are the streets over there?
Streets are 24, and right, Ben?
Yeah, what's coming out, your subdivision is 20, we're 24.
Yeah, we increased the size of the streets by 4 feet, plus we added, according to the engineer, 5 foot on each side of 8-inch soil cement, so they're much wider streets.
Okay. Chief Limble, is that okay with you, with the fire trucks?
Yeah, is there any parking on those streets? Is that in the
There
covenant?
shouldn't be
No
big
parking?
lots.
No what?
No parking on streets?
That's, city.
I guess it'd be up to city.
We're gonna give the streets to the city, David.
Well, I didn't know if it was in the in the covenant, that'd be no parking.
No, it's not in the covenants, but the covenants hadn't been recorded. Anything can be added that the city wants at this point.
That's the same thing, that's what they are in the coal places, 24, but they park on both sides.
Is that your recommendation, Chief?
What?
That it be in the covenants, no parking on the streets?
Yeah, it needs to be no parking in the streets if it's only 24 foot wide, but there's no parking in.
There's no parking in Holly Grove in that section.
That's what I'm saying, they do need to have that in there when you
'Cause,
record that part.
there's no curbs in there for people to park next to anyway. They end up having to park in their yard,
Yeah.
and which would be a violation of code.
We don't have any trouble in there with parking on the road.
It's just the other
Occasionally
end.
there could be a car on it, but the coal place is the one that we have our biggest problem, is just parking on both sides of the street. You can't, I won't lie, get a car down. It's really getting worse, so I don't know. I don't know how the school bus gets through there, but
I go through it every day, Chief, and it's really tough.
yeah.
Mr. Reeves, would you be willing to put in your covenant no parking on the street?
If that's what the city wants, sure.
Is that what the board would like? Is that what the board would like? Chief, you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Right.
Alderman Geis.
Is there a homeowners association requirement in that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah, we have that mainly because we're gonna have nice monuments as you come into the subdivision, the Baker State subdivision, and we'll have it, we made provisions to put under the street. We've got pipe under the street to put water for a sprinkler system to keep the grass and the flowers and whatnot all year long. And also, we'll have lighting with it'll come on every night. So
Yes, sir.
that's really about all that they will be. And I think I put in, it could be changed, but I think I put in something like, it'd be like $60 a year, $5 a month or so.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So on 84 lots, that adds up to what, $4,000 or $5,000 somewhere, which I think will take care of that.
Yes, sir.
Does anyone else have any questions, comments? Do we have a motion? Alderman Bostic.
I just have one question. They said they were waiting on Vince to look over some email they sent today before we make the motion. Do we need to get your okay on what they sent you today on what you needed to review before we approve this, or?
Well, yeah, we're okay with what they sent us at this point. We're just having to review it, to look through the information. We got to spend some time reviewing it to check it, but yeah.
Anything else, Alderman? All right, I think the proposed motion is conditional that it be approved by our engineer, the stormwater detention. All right, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
make a motion to approve case number 2057, Baker's Estates final plat approval conditional to storm water detention design adjustments by Yazoo Development Properties LLC at East Highway 301 and south of DeSoto Road, with the conditions of the no parking on the street and, was there another?
Sidewalk.
And no fees for the not having sidewalks.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Alderman Klein. Is there any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein?
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe?
Aye.
Alderman Guys?
Aye.
Alderman Bostic?
Aye.
Alderman Johnson?
Aye.
Alderman Free?
Aye.
Alderman Young?
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. We'll be so happy to see your development here.
Thank you. I've got these plans. I've looked at them. They're nice plans, but I'll leave them with Chad if anybody wants to look through them.
Well, just like Alderman Guy said, and Alderman Bledsoe, that this is the type of development the city has been needing, and we thank you for working with the city so well on this. And sorry you lost sleep worrying about all the things we wanted, but we thank you for doing that.
Mayor, I'm much too old for this.
Billy.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Sir? How's your brother? I ain't heard from him in a while.
Thank you, Mr. Ben, Mr. John. Thank y'all. All right, number 6, new business. Letter A, do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
I make a motion to request the purchase of software from ESO Solutions for the fire department, reporting at a yearly cost of $21,352.30.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second, Alderman Bledsoe. Do we have any discussion?
One thing, is it in your budget?
Yes, sir.
As long as you got the money.
Anyone? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young?
Aye.
Alderman Dupree?
Aye.
Alderman Johnson?
Aye.
Alderman Bostic?
Aye.
Alderman Guys?
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe?
Aye.
Alderman Klein?
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Letter B. Do we have a motion, please?
Mayor,
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, I make a motion to request to replace the Big Walter Horton blues marker on Center Street at a cost of $3,597 to be paid with the hotel motel tax proceeds, finding that said blues marker promotes the attributes of the city and promotes the city's tourism and economic development.
We have a motion by Alderman Bostic. Do we have a second?
Mayor, second.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Bledsoe.
we were there when I was park director. We helped put that up. Had a big showing on it, and it needed to be replaced. And I really appreciate everybody going to vote for it.
Alderman Geis.
Do we ever find out what happened to the original one?
Yes, sir. Mr. Gary, would you mind answering Mr. Geis, Alderman Geis's question, sir?
Well, I was driving down the road and saw it laying on the ground. I brought it back to the shop. I figured whoever put it up, they'd be calling about it. They got in touch with the mayor. He called me and asked me about it. I said, yeah, I've got it at the shop. It was laying on the ground. So we're not sure. Something hit it and broke it off, and there's no way to fix it the way it's mounted. So, but this time, we put it up, we're gonna put something around it, keep anything from getting close, because there's trucks going down that road, going to that place, mowers and everything, so we're gonna try to put something around it, to keep everything away from it.
Okay, thank you.
Concrete around it, put some posts up, or maybe put some rocks around it or something, posts.
So we didn't knock it down.
Somebody knocked it.
He ain't saying. He said before he got here. Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Oh,
Sir?
I said, I'm not saying that we did or didn't.
Nolo Contendro, is that what they call it?
There wasn't no truck tracks over there, I'll put it to you that way.
is there any way to move it towards the railroad tracks a little bit further, because those big trucks do come through there, and they do get off the road. Oh, okay.
Now, we didn't pay to put that up. Didn't the Blues Association? Why won't they replace it?
They asked, I don't know, they asked.
Sir?
I guess they just asked if the city would pay for it. I don't really know how we ended up having to pay for it.
Mayor,
Alderman Bledsoe.
I think the first time they put the bill on it, and the second time it's gonna go to the city.
Okay. I remember when they did that dedication, even Mr. Honeyboy Edwards came all the way down from Chicago. I personally was not aware of the talent of Big Walter Horton, but was certainly proud he's from Horn Lake, and if you read about him a little bit, he played with some of the big names, the really big names. But I must plead that I didn't know anything about the gentleman. All right, let's see, we had a motion by Alderman Bostic. Who did the second?
Second.
Alderman Bledsoe. Any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein?
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe?
Aye.
Alderman Geis?
Aye.
Alderman Bostic?
Aye.
Alderman Johnson?
Aye.
Alderman Dupree?
Aye.
Alderman Young?
Aye.
Motion carries, 7 in favor, none opposed. Letter C. Do we have a motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Johnson.
I move to request to approve and accept the City of Horn Lake Utility System Emergency Response Plan.
Motion by Alderman Johnson. Is there a second?
Second. Second, sir.
Second by Alderman Young. Is there any discussion?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
I read that plan, and I talked to Mr. Box today, and I saw Mr. Gary, but I didn't get a chance to talk to him. But that's a pretty concise plan. It's pretty doggone step by step, pretty doggone good. It's glad to see that we have that in place, and it's been well needed. It's past due, and thank both of them for your due diligence on that, and you're bringing it forward. That's great. Thank you.
I'm like you. They did an excellent job, I thought. Excellent. Thank y'all. Anybody else? Roll call, please.
Alderman Young?
Aye.
Alderman Dupree?
Aye.
Alderman Johnson?
Aye.
Alderman Bostic?
Aye.
Alderman Geis?
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. All right, citizens' remarks. Did anybody sign in? Hey, how you doing this evening? Thank you. All right, Mr. Calvin Freeland. Good to see you, sir. You're very diligent about attending the meetings, and we thank you.
I do the best I can. Calvin Freeman, 1398 Arbor Lake Drive North. I'm just here for a safety situation and rental, being very brief on the respect for safety. Got a little situation with the rental and gonna be on the rise. In Arbor Lake on the northeast, on the northwest corner, we have a fire hydrant. It may be happening in the other subdivision. I know it's getting winter time. We got the winter is on the rent is on the rise, and the renter can't handle their rent, and they got other people living in with them to handle their rent, and the rent is up to like $1,800 in my area in Arbor Lakes. So what I'm saying is we got like too many people living in the houses, and in all the area now we got a little island where the fire hydrant at, and they blocking around the fire hydrant. It's just for the fire chief observation, might have in the other subdivision. It's just for a safety thing. If you could take a look at that area and other subdivision, for winter time, fire may happen, your fireman can't get to it because they're blocking the fire. So that's what I'm here for. So thank you for that.
Oh.
It's just an observation.
Oh, thank you, sir. You do a great job down there. Chief Brown, isn't there an ordinance about the number of people in the house and they have to be kin to one another?
I believe there is. I'm not that familiar with that ordinance. Again, that's one of those that it's difficult for us to determine who's in the house.
I understand we're gonna get on that, but when that time come, I ask my alderman, I'd like to be part of that committee when they bring it forward.
I think we already have an ordinance about the number of, don't we, Mr. Billy?
We do, Mayor. I don't know it off the top of my head, but I do recall working on the definition
Right.
of the word family years ago, and we do have something in there about the number of people that can live, because it's a single-family residence, so there should be a family living there.
But right now, my concern right now is the fire hydrant. It can be winter time, safety issue, and with all the numbers of cars that's living in now, because people can't handle the rent now, and they bringing the in-laws to try to make the rent. Because like I said, the rent in my area now with this company called Progress Residential now, they're buying up the houses now in my area.
Yes.
We got 70 lots, and they buying it up. We got 70 lots, now we got like up to almost like 22 houses done sold to Progress Residential in Horn Lake, so they buying up our area now.
That's a problem. We have a meeting once a month, the mayors of other cities in the county, and it's not just here, it's not just DeSoto County, it's nationwide. But I would ask Chief Brown, would you please check into that ordinance? And would you please have someone go down there and address people blocking the fire hydrant?
Yes, sir, we will.
I just want to say one thing, just look through the whole Horn Lake area. I just want about the fire hydrant issue, what we have in our area on the southwest, the island when you go in, that's the observation we have in our area. I'm just concerned about the whole Horn Lake, protection of other people in the area of Horn Lake for the protection of our.
Well, thank you for bringing that to the board, because it's not just a problem where you are.
That's why
And
I'm
I
bringing it
appreciate you, and the board is very concerned about the rental issue. In fact, our committee down there with Alderman Young and others, that's what they're working on, to present to the board, and studying other cities, what their rental ordinances are, so maybe we can get it right without having to go through court battle after court battle after court battle. But Chief Brown said he would get attention about the fire hydrant and about the number of people living in that house, whether they're family or not.
I'm okay, I can work with you on that matter, but I'm more concerned about the fire hydrant and the safety of our city, to keep the numbers down and worry about somebody.
But we need to address the other one too, because that problem will spread.
Yeah, it is.
If we don't nip it in the bud.
Yeah, but the rent is up over $1,800 going.
Mayor.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Chief, ain't there a state law that says you can't park by a fire hydrant, a fire department code?
Yeah, they can get a ticket, they block it.
That's what I'm saying. That solves that problem. Give them tickets.
Don't need a warning, just need a ticket, is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Or a tow truck, one or the other.
Yeah, like you said, like you said,
I
it's not my
I
area.
or a tow truck.
I see other areas like that.
Doors and lay a hose through it. I think I'm.
Hey, you say that joking, I did that in Memphis. Went right through the car.
I like to see our fire department keep good numbers and let us stay number one in the state.
Thank you,
That's the
sir.
reason I'm here. Okay.
Thank you. And a Merry Christmas to you and
Merry
yours.
New Year's to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Very nice, very good.
Where's my eggnog?
All right. I have nothing except to be repetitious and wish everyone a Merry Christmas. And thank you so much for what y'all did to help those poor people up in Kentucky. Like I said, it was amazing. Alderman Young, do you have anything, sir?
Just one thing right quick. I want to thank Public Works again. Y'all bat 1,000 today. Thanks to their help, the animal shelter down there, they collect aluminum cans to help spade and neuter program. And they called, asked if something could be done, and me and one of my neighbors went down there today, and I talked to Mr. Gary and Mr. Box, and they were beneficial enough to let us use one of their 16-foot trailers to carry aluminum cans to Nesbitt. Not only did they do that, but they also supplied a bobcat to load them. They got us a couple of hired hands down there after the lunch break to help tie the tarps and do all that kind of stuff. And after all was said and done, 2 full loads of 908 pounds of cans. The animal shelter's $390 richer tonight than they were when they started this morning. Nice. So I just want to thank Public Works again for stepping up and doing what they did. Not for this board, but for the animals down there in the animal shelter. It's great when you can get 2 entities to work together like that and make things happen. And it just doesn't need to go unnoticed. Thank y'all very much.
Yes, thank you. Alderman Dupree, you have anything, sir?
I just want to say Merry Christmas to everyone and have a safe New Year. And may God bless us.
Nice. Alderman Johnson.
Merry Christmas, everyone. May the new year be prosperous to everyone. Let us all continue to be positive about our city and nowhere but up from here. Thank you.
Alderman Bostic.
Yeah, I'd like to just wish everybody a Merry Christmas, and remember all these aldermen up here have phone numbers. So if you need us, you can call us anytime, and we'll be glad to help you. I'm looking forward to 2022.
Alderman Geis.
Merry Christmas, everyone. That's it.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, everybody, and a Happy New Year. And about Mayfield, Kentucky, I got a nephew that's a reporter up there, and he said it's nothing but toothpicks laying all over the ground, and not most of the people, so they're going to build back. So they need all the help they can get, and I've been through all that kind of stuff when Katrina hit and everything. But it's a sad situation, but they can build it back like they need it.
Alderman Klein.
I wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's, and really excited about this new year and the direction that Horn Lake's going.
And now we're coming to the part about our department heads. I'd like to express gratitude to all the department heads and everybody on their staff for what they've done this past year for the citizens of Horn Lake. We certainly thank you and hope you have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Chief Brown, did you have anything, sir?
No, sir, Mr. Mayor, I do not.
Anybody have questions for Chief Brown? Alderman Dupree.
I just want to say thank you, Chief, for what you do. I don't know if a lot of folks out here don't know what this man goes through every day. I call him 2 or 3 times a day. But I just want to say thanks to the Deputy Chief for what he does.
Thank you.
Mr. Gary, you have anything for the board?
I just want to wish everybody Merry Christmas and roll tide.
No.
Roll over tide.
Isn't Alabama gonna be playing Georgia where that Horn Lake graduate, Kobe Dean,
Yeah,
attends?
exactly.
And
Go
has
Kobe.
The Dick Buckus Award, not only for high school, but for college? Sir?
Mayor, I normally don't want to dismiss anybody right before Christmas, but
Anybody have any questions or remarks or threats for Mr. Gary? I'll show you a cartoon about roll tides. Chief Limble, you have anything, sir?
I don't have anything. I just want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And I've never lost a ball game yet because I pulled for the highest score.
Anyone questions or comments for Chief Limble?
I do, Chief.
Alderman Dupree.
Yeah, thank you, Chief, for what you do. Appreciate everything. Mr. Mueller there, I know his family, and he comes from a long line of firefighters, and I think you did a great choice in promoting him.
He did that himself. He made the points, not me.
Well, that's great. And your uncle will be at my house doing the roof tomorrow.
We don't hold that against anybody who know his family.
Anyone else have any questions or comments? Mr. Chris, good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Do you have anything for the board, sir?
No, not right now, Mr. Mayor, at this time. Thank you.
Anyone have any questions, Mr. Chris? He's filling in for Mr. Cole. Mr. Vince, good evening, sir.
Good evening, Mayor.
Do you have anything for the board, sir?
Just want to bring to your attention a couple of things about, I guess, a couple of projects. One is the fact that as of last week, the city got notice that we do have funding for, I think, 5 of our projects that we have in the EWP program. I've got, I think, a map up there. Yeah. Those yellow pinpoints are the locations of those sites. We've actually got about 10 or 11 sites, but these are the only 5 that got funded at this point. So just wanted to bring that to your attention. This is obviously coming from the NRCS program, EWP program, and those sites were identified mainly by people that called in to Public Works, and we've gone out there, looked at them, checked them out, and there are, candidates for the program, obviously. So those will probably, what'll happen from here is the city will receive a letter of award, and at this time there's no obligation, but once you sign an award, then she'll be obligated for their 25% of the project. And that'll include 5 sites.
All right. That is absolutely amazing. You got that approval that quick.
Well,
years ago, it took years to move up the line to get it. Thank you, sir.
Well, that's not much of my doing other than the fact that we pull the projects together and have them ready, because the funding comes down from federal government as they see fit and as the storms occur in the area. So that's one item. The other item was, I was going to tell you that we are in the process of finishing up finalizing the Phase 3 rehab project for our streets that Gibson Paving was doing. And we've done the final inspection and asked for their final pay request, and it appears that there's going to be a substantial decrease in the original contract amount. So
you said decrease?
Yes, sir.
Wow.
Quite a bit. So we'll be providing that to the city probably in the next board meeting or so.
That's good news. Thank you, sir. Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Vince? Alderman Young.
Mr. Vince, 2 questions, or 1 question and 1. The bridge is extremely nice. Thank you. Very nice. It's very smooth. Of course, the Horn Lake 500 is taking place up and down 2 Lane now, Chief.
We're working on it.
I know you are. I saw you all out there today. Made some happy, gave out some good citizen awards today. That was good. The second thing is, I saw them moving dirt down here on Horn Lake Road, down this way, in between the attorney's office and the snow cone joint. They're pushing dirt, and they were surveying. Is there something going on we don't know about?
Yeah, it's on Goodman.
On Goodman, yeah, on Goodman Road.
I don't know anything there.
Could you take Brutus down there tomorrow and see what's going on?
Yes. Like a development?
It's on the north side of Goodman Road between the Snow Cone Restaurant and do we know what it is, Mr. Jim?
It should,
No, I noticed that today too, and
Yeah, I mean,
was gonna
they
check
had a
it.
bulldozer and they're pushing dirt around and I'm like, what in the cornbread?
it could be somebody just sold dirt from that lot or something, people moving it, you know, but.
Well, it
needs
may
to
be, but we need to know what, I mean, we don't need a pop-up
Right.
studio there next week with selling tennis shoes.
Yeah.
Can you check on that tomorrow and tell them that there's a process they need to do before they do anything like that?
Okay.
I
Will do.
appreciate it. Thank you, sir. If you could follow up on that and let me know, I'd appreciate it, Mr. Chad. Thank you.
Could y'all please check for Alderman Young and see who owns that property?
There you go.
Because I did not know anything about it either.
And actually, I just saw the bulldozers, all I saw, and I was like, what? That's what got my attention.
That was better than what I
Mr. Box,
saw trees.
Was it right there by, at the AT&T store, across from there?
I think it was up a little bit further.
They are doing some lot there and there.
Further east than that, I think.
Marco's Pizza or something like that's gonna be going,
it's down there close to Mr. Campbell's, Mr. Holland's office building.
Right in that area, that section right there between the Snow Cone Place and Mr. Holland, right in there, it looked like.
that's news to me.
That's what thank you. Just find out what's going on.
Anyone else have any questions for Mr. Vince? No, sir. Mr. Chad, do you have anything for the board?
Just two things. The planning commission meeting for January the 31st is becoming really long. And so we're gonna try to work on as many cases as we can to try to keep things going through the development pipeline, if you will. But there may become a point where we get to a point where we're gonna have to ask people to, wait until February to be considered. Just from a physical standpoint, we couldn't do anymore, but we're gonna try to do as many cases as we can for January. I'm probably gonna take in some other applications because you never know if you get 6 or 8 cases that as we get into later in December and early January, people may not be able to be heard in January. They may not be ready. They think they're ready, but they may not be ready as it turns out. So we may have some extra applications in order to back up, if we will. So that's one thing of note. We're that busy. The second thing is that I just want to reflect on the amazingness of the ability for us to get together and have meetings and have people heard, and everybody's important. I'd like to say that in the planning field, everybody's important, and everybody brings a different perspective to the whole planning process or, whatever you're looking at. And so I just want to reflect on that. That's amazing that we can do that in a civil sense, and we have the freedom to do that. And so I'm very thankful to be a part of that.
Thank you, sir. We're so glad you're here. Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Chad? Alderman Young.
This is your first Christmas in Mississippi, so Merry Christmas, y'all.
Well, thank you.
Anyone else?
Mayor,
Alderman Dupree.
what's the temperature in your hometown?
Oh, well, I think it's like 14 tonight or something.
Christmas here is gonna be 78. Welcome to Mississippi.
Mayor,
Alderman Bledsoe.
I told him the only white Christmas we have is on the beach. Same.
Or in June when the cotton's blooming.
Anybody else have any questions or comments for Mr. Chad? Mr. Robinson, did you have anything for the board, sir?
I just placed at your seat, we had our sales tax come in for the first month of this year, and you'll see that for October, sales tax was $566,571, which is up from October of 2021. This is our 2022 budget year, but October of last year, it was $506,962. So it's an increase of almost $60,000 from this time last year. So hopefully the trend will continue for the next 11 months.
That's good news. Anybody have any questions or comments for Mr. Jim? Alderman Young.
I talked to Mr. Robinson about this a minute ago, earlier. That's almost $46,000 a month. We're ahead of where we were last year. That's awesome.
And last year was up a good bit over the year before. It expresses the confidence in the businesses to move here and our citizens to shop here. And we encourage you to continue to shop and support our local businesses and invite your friends and relatives to come down and spend their money in Horn Lake. All right, moving on down. Mr. Campbell, did you have anything?
I do not, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone have any questions or comments for Mr. Campbell? All right. Do we have a motion to go into closed determination?
Mayor.
Alderman Young.
Make a motion to go into closed determination, please.
Do we have a second?
No, second, Mayor.
Second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Jim.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe.
Aye.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, if y'all would excuse us for just a few minutes, please. All right, we're back. Do we have a motion to come out of closed determination?
Mayor, I make a motion to come out of closed determination.
Motion by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second to the motion?
I'll second that, Mayor.
We have a second by Alderman Bostic. Do we have any discussion? Roll call, please.
Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Do we have a motion to go into executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I move that we go into executive session for the following: discussions regarding personnel matters in the Public Works. Is it Public Works? It's a Parks Department. Parks Department, and discussion strategy session regarding pending litigation involving a proposed development.
Do we have a second to the motion by Alderman Geis? Who made the second? Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Robinson.
Alderman Young.
Aye.
Alderman Dupree.
Aye.
Alderman Johnson.
Aye.
Alderman Bostic.
Aye.
Alderman Geis.
Aye.
Alderman Bledsoe. Alderman Klein.
Aye.
Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, if you will excuse us, please. We're back. Do we have a motion to come out of executive session?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I make a motion to come out of executive session.
Motion to come out of executive session by Alderman Geis. Do we have a second to the
Second.
motion?
Second.
Second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion?
None.
Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Do we have any motions resulting from executive session or
Mayor.
any other session or motion?
Mayor,
Alderman Geis.
I move to suspend employee number 659 without pay effective December 14th, 2021, and to terminate said employee effective today for violation of personnel policy 701, 702, and 707.
I'll
We-
second that, Mayor.
We have a motion by Alderman Geis. We have a second by Alderman Dupree. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. I have no other listing for any other business for this honorable board. If there is none, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Mayor,
Alderman Young.
Merry Christmas. Let's adjourn.
We have a motion
Second.
by
Hallelujah.
Alderman Young and a second by Alderman Bledsoe. Is there any discussion? Roll call, please, Mr. Robinson.
Aye.
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 Motion carries 7 in favor, none opposed. Ladies and gentlemen, we are adjourned.